KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're the Real Estate Rat Pack. Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now, 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack!
Well, it's just not
I didn't even warn. Yeah,
Yeehaw!
I didn't even.
I need to go. Teresa Kennedy hanging in for Chris Kelso.
Oh, wow.
How's that sound, boys?
I like it.
Well, Chris, if you're out there listening, we're thinking
You're fired.
about you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious!
Yes,
I think I'm a little easier on the eyes. Than
We
you,
are,
Chris,
yes, so there's no doubt about that. We are sans Chris Kelso today, and he's out with his family in Disney World enjoying himself, so I hope you're having a good time.
He's taking some of his top clients on a business trip.
There you go. There you go.
I think he's escaping today. So, welcome, Teresa. We're so happy to have you. This is the fourth time that Teresa has been on the show. She's been on the show 3 times as a guest.
Yes.
And now she's our co-host.
And now I'm the co-host. Thank you, Rob and Joe and Chris, for having me as a co-host. We have a lot of fun. So it's,
We made at least 2 people, snort coffee through their nose last time we were here.
We're all snort lovers over here, right?
Yes, exactly.
We should actually do one for Chris. Give him a shout out. Ready? 3, 2, 1. We love you, Chris.
We know where this show is going. It's down, down, down. So we got a good show today.
I think we have a very unique show. It's something we've never done. We have the Rat Pack has a special place in its heart for charities, and we have on a number of occasions.
Which is why I'm on.
Yeah,
I'm their charity
case. Living proof right here. We have on many occasions had different charity organizations on and given them some time to promote their charity and that sort of thing. And just a couple days ago, I had a great conversation with someone, and there was a lot of synergy in the conversation about things that I'm passionate about, and that was part of that conversation was about charities, and the other part of that was about children and breaking poverty cycles. And I said, this is something that needs to get some press and some exposure. And then I thought, we have a lot of amazing people right around us that do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that rarely get the press they deserve. And what a great topic for a show. So today is Rebels with a Cause.
Yes.
So we have some wonderful folks on today, and we're going to be discussing charities right here in Houston, and the folks that are working with those charities to make a difference in our local communities here in the lives. And Rob is technically not a host today.
I'm kind of technically a guest as well.
You are our guest as well. That's right.
We wear a lot of hats here, but and again, we're not really leaving the real estate realm because the people that we have here today are also very, very connected into the community.
Absolutely. So great point.
It's almost like there was a theme.
And
that we thought this through.
They actually do use their brains.
It's on a occasion.
So we have Teresa. You want to introduce our next guest?
Yes. We have
Put her on the spot.
Mr. Richard Aliperti.
Aliperti?
Is
that right?
Aliperti.
That's close enough.
With Keller Williams, another fellow Keller William. Is that a word?
William?
Memorial Office.
It depends on how many N's you put in there.
There you go,
That's
Keller
close,
William.
yes. Yes.
I make my own language up. So tell us about little bit about yourself and what it is that you hold dear to your heart as far as charities go, and give us a little insight on that.
Okay. Well, I've been in Houston about 34 years, and about 25 years ago, I came back from a missions trip to Guatemala and found out that there was a lot of things going on in the world that I didn't know about. And I was exposed to it when I went there. And I came back and I said, I want to do something here in my own city without traveling thousands of miles and spending thousands of dollars to get there and back, that I can make a difference. So when I came back, I talked to a pastor at my church, and I said, I want to do something here. And we started talking about it. And about a month later, we decided that a good thing to do would be to help kids in low-income apartment that was right across the street from my church. And that apartment complex, the name of it was Cornerstone Chase Apartments. And that's on Long Point Drive right at Oak Tree. And with that, I said, well, I'm going to need some help. And he said, well, you can, gather some help from the people that you know to actually help you with the volunteer part of it. And when I did that, it was singles that were helping nobody who was married. So it was kind of like a singles program. And when we got started, the apartment had a lot of negative things going on over there, like drugs, and they were actually killing people in the apartment. Oh. And that's where we started the ministry. I went over and talked to the manager and said, hey, here's what we want to do to help the kids here, teach them about God and also about doing better in school, and we were going to actually tutor them. So they said, okay, well, you want an apartment? And I said, well, yeah, if you want to give us one. So they gave us an apartment, paid all the utilities on it, and that's where we started.
Oh, that's wow. Amazing. So you formed a ministry for children, especially in the low income housing. Is it what areas do you cover? Because that's a great charity to start up, especially for children.
Right.
And, do you cover just the Houston area, Conroe? Like, how far do you reach out?
Right. Right now, it's just Spring Branch. We have 17 apartments that we actually draw kids from. And we go to the apartment complex, talk to the management, and say, hey, is it okay if we do this? What we have found is that when the kids go through our program, they're not getting involved in the negative things that normally happen in these low-income apartments, like the drug situation, the gang situation, the teenage pregnancy, and vandalism to not only the apartment complex, but to the cars that are there. They totally change that, and they have an upward mobility of the next level up for where they want to go because of us instilling in them and inspiring them to the next level of secondary education.
I was going to say the cycle of poverty is a really difficult cycle to break. Talk about some of the success stories that you've experienced.
Well, we have one of the kids went through the program that was heading the wrong way, a girl, and after going through our program, she went to college, got a 4-year degree, married someone who had a 4-year degree, and they have 3 kids. They live in Katy, and they bought a house. So moving out of the low-income apartment to owning a house in Katy, and now she comes back every week and volunteers, brings her kids, and her kids are the best kids we've got. So that thing actually happened with her to make that happen. And she's part of the Hope and Future program, which is totally designed to help the kids get to the secondary education through their 12th year, coming to the program and actually getting exposure to what college life is all about, because we actually take them to the campus. They can actually shadow some of the people that are in the field that they want to go into. And they have classes that teach them how to get the highest grade that they can get on the ACT and the SAT also for the entrance exams to get into the colleges. Plus, if they get complete certain items in that Hope and Future program, they actually get a scholarship from our organization, Cornerstone Family Ministries, that helps them to go to college.
How do you fund that? I think there'd be a lot of needs and to raise funds and keep that going. How do you do that?
Well, when I
copy you.
Right.
Yeah.
When I started it was just me putting money out of my pocket, and then some of the volunteers put money in, and it gradually grew to the point where right now there's over 20 churches that provide funding for it. And the last fundraiser that we had back in the fall, we had over 500 people there from the community, both business owners as well as individuals, the volunteers like myself, and the people from the churches. And that provides the funding for the program that is now $435,000 a year. We have 3 buses and 2 15-passenger vans that we go around and pick up the kids.
And
we don't even have to tell them anymore. They're waiting there for us when we pick them up because it's a fun thing for them to come to, and they actually see consistency in their life that they don't see maybe at home or the normal atmosphere that they are living in.
Of course, we can always show up, Joe, and say,
Yeah.
if you don't follow this program, this is what you're going to turn out like.
Right.
Yeah. Radio show host somewhere.
Exactly.
It's just amazing how God, has a plan for all of us, and especially in hearing your story, how you started something like that, especially for the kids. I mean, kids have a huge spot in my heart, and to create something like that, it's just like God put that there. You probably had no idea. You saw a cause and a need, and He showered you with the blessings to be able to make something so great for all the children, and that's amazing.
Right. And the changes have not only happened with the kids, but it's happened with our heart as well, as far as giving is concerned. And a lot of the volunteers, like we just had our volunteer appreciation at the end of every school year. We do that. We have a big dinner where they get together and they get up and talk about what happened in their life. And some of them, it was just one of the mom or the dad came as a volunteer, and next thing you know, they're bringing the whole family. So the kids get to experience giving back as well and starting that volunteerism at a young age, which is amazing to see that
It's amazing when people
happen.
can identify a purpose, how they actually get polarized around that purpose, and it becomes part of it, as it did for you.
Yes,
I think that's
exactly.
just an amazing thing. What about the growth of that ministry? Before the show, we were talking about that some people have taken the idea that they want to take it to other cities. Talk about that a little bit.
Right. The expansion of this, there was a guy who came through the program as a volunteer when it originally started 25 years ago. And he called me up a year ago, and I'd lost contact with him for close to 20 years. And he said that he wanted to, when he retires from the Navy, be able to get in his motorhome and travel around the country and promote this in areas all over the country where we can work on the stopping of the poverty all over the country, because this program definitely works. The volunteer base comes from the local churches. The local churches also help to provide some of the money as well as the volunteers, and then the local businesses actually provide money to help the program continue as well.
I want to jump back kind of to something y'all were just touching on. There's a biblical principle that God has given us in Scripture that is, I heard taught once about how life and fruitfulness is meant to come out of us. And there's the example of two very famous, very discussed seas or bodies of water in Scripture. One of them is the Dead Sea, and one of them is the Sea of Galilee. And they're both fed by the same river.
Yes.
There's only one major difference between the two of them. The Dead Sea, which has no life whatsoever, can sustain no life. The Sea of Galilee, which feeds millions of people, even to this day, are both fed by the Jordan.
Yes.
And the difference is that the Galilee flows out and feeds the Dead Sea, and the Dead Sea has no river that flows out of it. We were intended to have this abundant life, and how that is done is by having an outflow from us. We were meant to serve. So if you spend a lot of time talking to people about why they're pursuing the things that they're pursuing in life, ultimately it comes down to have a sense of fulfillment and happiness. And you can eliminate a lot of the stuff you're doing and focus on some very simple things and experience that fulfillment. And one of those things is being involved in charity and seeing change for the better in other people's lives and being a part of that.
Yes.
Well, we're getting pretty close to a break here.
Which leads me up to, which I was going to say, which leads me up to the last point here, since we're down to a break here, is if someone wanted to get involved with your organization and participate, do you have any means, first of all, for them to participate on a small scale, or just to come in and volunteer for a weekend or a couple weekends, that kind of thing? And if so, how do people reach out to you?
Right. Well, they can either call me or they can get online and check out the ministry at cfmhouston.org, or they can call me, Richard Aliperti, at 281-236-9721.
Very good, very good. Well, we hear the music playing, So it means we're up against the break. We've got to let our sponsors have a couple minutes, and we will be right back with our next guest, I believe, Mr. Jason Jimenez.